Hello friends! I've been working as a software developer for over 5 years, and today I'm gonna share 6 mistakes that not only degrade the quality of your work but also negatively impact your life overall. I personally made these mistakes in my early years, so in this video I want to help you avoid them. The first point for today is about unnecessarily creating something that already exists. Let's say you have a task to integrate a payment system into your project. After reading the documentation and selecting the required endpoints, you might be tempted to write the functionality that will interface the payment system's API directly. However, chances are someone has already developed a library for your programming language that facilitates this. Such libraries are usually well-tested, widely used, and come with comprehensive documentation. Unless you're aiming to learn from scratch, it's often better to use existing solutions. It saves time and adds reliability to your project. One mistake I made early on my first company was not asking questions when a task was not entirely clear. I seriously believed that if I asked questions, my colleagues would think that I didn't know anything, that I couldn't handle things on my own, and that I needed constant mentoring. The truth is, by staying silent, I made things worse. I artificially prolonged the time it took to complete this task that could have been done faster if I just asked another developer or a manager. Never be afraid to seem inexperienced if you don't know something. Ask clarifying questions, strive to understand every piece of the task. Taking the time to do this is much better than having to redo already completed work. Also, I wanted to point out, if a task seems clear to you, but while working on it you notice some code that blocks the functionality you are trying to add, it's always better to inform your manager or your team lead. Perhaps there was a mistake in analyzing this task that conflicts with already existing functionality, and it needs to be reviewed again. The next point is about learning new things. When I was first learning, I thought the key to mastering new material was to read all the theory and then apply it in practice. Take Python, for example. I started by reading Mark Lutz's book Learning Python. The first 20 pages were fascinating. I thought that by the time I finished that book, I'd know how to work with this programming language and be ready to dive into practice. But around page 40, I realized I was lost. And worst, I feared that I had forgotten even the first 20 pages. My issue was that I only absorbed theory and watched tutorials without actually coding. So all that knowledge faded quickly. If I were learning Python now, I would begin with a clear goal, like creating a simple blog using Django. By moving step by step, facing specific challenges, I'd learn about tools and solutions for those particular issues. That is when the theory would become essential. By working on such a project, I'd not only develop my Python skills, but also learn to use one of the most popular frameworks, Django. Another major mistake is neglecting to take breaks. I used to think, if I started a task, it was best to complete it in one go, to stay focused and not waste time. I could work 4 to 6 hours straight without leaving my desk. By the evening, I'd be so exhausted that I'd lose track of the days. I even remember skipping meals, thinking I'd eat later and forgetting all about it. Friends, I strongly advise taking a short break roughly every hour. You can easily set a timer to remind you to stand up, stretch, and hydrate. And always remember to eat. Next point closely ties in with the previous one. A significant oversight I made was not using a timer. Timers are fantastic tools for maintaining focus. Here is how I use it. Before starting a task, I set a timer for 15 minutes. During that time, I only focus on the task at hand. When time is up, I take a break, allowing my brain to rest. For the next 5 or 10 minutes, I can do whatever I please. I can make myself a cup of coffee or go outside to breathe fresh air. And then I back to work again. It is well known that we work more efficiently as deadlines approach. In this case, the timer acts as a way to set personal deadlines. The last point on my list is about the psychological perception of work. While work is an essential part of our lives, it shouldn't replace life itself. Here's what I mean. During my first year on the job, I was so committed to a project that I'd often stay late at the office, long after others had left. I constantly felt the need to complete tasks, fix bugs, or enhance the functionality I was working on. Sometimes I even allocated my weekends to fixing stuff. About a year in, I started feeling drained, downcast, and I suppose I was on the verge of depression. Thankfully, a friend of mine helped me realize the root of my problem, and I began to pace myself better. So please, don't repeat my mistake. You'll never achieve absolute perfection, and there will always be tasks waiting for you tomorrow. Keep your work and personal life separate. Thank you guys for watching this video. I sincerely hope you found it helpful. See you next time.